Good morning everyone, welcome to our next vlog in the series, following on from Kev who did his vlog on Wednesday. Today we're in Exodus 19 and I've just started the video and I've seen that my hair's a bit like Tintin because I've just been up Snowdon with the boys and Lisa and it was a bit windy, so I'm not going to go and do my hair now. But anyway, we're in Exodus 19. The Israelites have just been rescued out of Egypt. They've just seen the 10 plagues and then they've been rescued out of Egypt by God, and then they've seen all that happen, and then they've gone through the amazing miracle of the parting of the Red Sea, and this is 3 months later that they're now meeting with God at Mount Sinai, and it's in Exodus 19. I'll read the verses to you. Here you go. Then Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain and said, "This is what you are to say to the descendants of Jacob, and what you are to tell the people of Israel. You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all the nations you will be my treasured possession." Isn't that a lovely promise? "Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites." And that's what God said in Exodus 19. The title today is called Two-Way Commitment. And so, as I said, they're 3 months out of Egypt. It's 1 million people that have been rescued. And here they are. They've seen all these amazing things happen. And then now they've come to a mountain, and on the mountain God is there. There's fire, there's smoke, there's thunder and lightning. It's amazing to them. It'd be amazing to anybody. It's awe-inspiring. And then your leader goes up the mountain. Moses goes up the mountain and he comes back with this message and he reads it to the people, and he says, the God who's delivered us, he wants to come into a special covenant, a special agreement together, to be his special possession, that if you keep the commandments, that if you obey what he tells us to do, that we can be his special possession. What a lovely promise that it is. And then Moses gives them the 10 commandments that we often call them. It sounds a bit of a harsh way of saying commandments, because that they are a commandment, but they had the choice to keep them or not, didn't they? But if they did keep them, there's an amazing promise that came with them, that they would be God's special possession and a light to the nations. We're not going to go through all of them, but the first one is quite poignant. God gave them these 10 commandments, but the first one says this: "I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me." God gave them simple instructions of how to live together and how to live in a special relationship with God. How many times when we read through the Bible do we see them failing these simple instructions about having no other God except the true one and only living God? I've just knocked something over, doesn't matter. And so the instructions that God gave them were instructions of how to live in freedom, of how to live in love and peace and in unity as a community together, as God's special community. People tried this in the 60s and to just take drugs and just love each other, but it was God's idea first, and God's idea was much better because it was teaching the people not to lie to each other, not to steal from each other. Just simple instructions of how people could live in freedom. They'd come out of slavery and God was giving them instructions of how to live in freedom and how to demonstrate how good that is. And the first one is an instruction to be faithful to God, to not have any other gods. And the Bible, it likens this special relationship, this special covenant through the Bible, a bit like a marriage in places. And just an application to think about, 'cause I'm going to keep it simple today. But I'm married to Lisa. Imagine I say to Lisa, "Lisa, I've been working away and I've had an affair with somebody. It's been going on for a few months, but I'm sorry. Please forgive me." What reaction should Lisa give? Should she forgive me? Not necessarily. But let's say she does forgive me and she accepts me back. And then 6 months later, I go, I'm sorry, I've been doing it again with somebody else. Should she forgive me? 6 months later down the line, I just do it every weekend with somebody different. And in a way, that's what happened in the Old Testament. The Israelites just turned their back on God and they went and followed after many other gods. And God was a jealous God because he loves them and he wants the best for them. But he always forgave them when they turned back to him. He always wanted to gather them up and saying, stop following and going after them, prostituting yourselves with other gods because they're not even real. And the example I gave you of me and Lisa, God accepted them back every time because of his unconditional love, because that's who he is. He's a God who's full of unconditional love, regardless of what you've done. That's who he is. And I did ask Lisa if she would sit in tonight so I could just go through that application and see what her reaction was, but she's had to go to take Callum to football, so I was hoping to do a joint vlog tonight, but she's been far too busy. But the promise from God that he said, if you keep this, you'll be my special possession, a holy nation, a kingdom of priests. And part of the instructions, as it says, it comes with a blessing that if the people would follow it, then there would be a light to the Gentiles. They demonstrate how a people can be a special possession, and they can demonstrate the goodness of God. They can demonstrate God's character of how to live together in peace, in unity, and joy, in a relationship and in the community. And it's the same for us today. God calls Christians to live as a holy nation, that we could be God's special possession still, and we could live by loving each other, and by the love that we show for each other, it would demonstrate God's love to a world that doesn't understand it but so desperately needs it. Today is the wedding of Omar and Tavanna, so I get to be the first one to wish them well on their journey, because it's going live at not live, but it's going public at 7 a.m. in the morning. So Tavanna and Omar, may God bless your wedding today and for the many years ahead. Have a great day, everybody. Look forward to seeing you all on Sunday. But if you're not there, I hope you enjoyed the service afterwards. God bless. See you all soon. Bye-bye.